I believe that we all have something great inside us. And the challenge of this lifetime is getting it out. Like the question is, are you going to get it out or not? Will you die with it still inside you? Which could be, I'm going to write the next great American novel. I'm going to create an amazing company. I'm going to write a romantic comedy that everyone will enjoy. I'm going to create a restaurant concept, whatever it is, like your greatness. So
It
if
could
you're,
be, I'm going to raise an emotionally stable young adult.
oh, that's crazy talk. That's just too hard. Come on. Let's talk about cold fusion or interstellar faster than light travel, not raising stable children, please.
Welcome to Daily Power Boost. I'm Sean Michael. This isn't a podcast about pushing harder or fixing yourself. It's a space to see clearly how your experience is actually being created. Each episode offers a simple shift in understanding, not a tactic, not a hustle, a clearer view of thought, identity, and the patterns you've been living inside. Because when misunderstanding drops, relief rises, energy returns. You move forward with calm, sovereign clarity. This is your Daily Power Boost. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily Power Boost. I'm Sean Michael, and today I'm excited to welcome Stephen Puri to the stage. Stephen, take it away.
Sean, thank you for having me. For those listening, for those fans of the pod, there are many great episodes. I'll tell you, we will endeavor to make one that's engaging and entertaining and actionable for you. The thing that is maybe unique about me, I've been a senior executive at a couple of motion picture studios. So I've seen the film game from the inside. I've also raised over $20 million of venture, run 3 startups, 1 successful exit, 2 failures, and have seen high performers in both those areas. And there are some patterns, there are some tips and tricks you pick up along the way. And love to talk about, how you stay focused, how you do it in a mindful, sustainable way.
I love it. And I think it's definitely something that all of us can use, Stephen, especially high achievers, high performers,
Hopefully,
because that B word, burnout,
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's a lot of people are thinking about it and looking at it, and practicing some mindful productivity, I think, is a very useful tool. And with that, I would say a lot of people think productivity, do more, right? But I say the deeper question is, what happens when it's misaligned with who we believe we are?
That's a great way to look at it. Sorry, go on. You're going to say more. I cut you off.
Well, I was going to introduce, as we talked about before.
Mhm.
So today I'd like to explore, as you said, focus, flow, mindful productivity that is sustainable and doesn't lead to burnout.
Okay, let's dig into that. So that is a meaty one because, yes, I am often asked to speak about productivity, about these ideas around focus and flow states and stuff. But here's the deal. It's kind of meaningless unless there is a reason. So I personally believe this. Not everyone does, but I believe that we all have something great inside us. And the challenge of this lifetime is getting it out. Like the question is, are you going to get it out or not? Will you die with it still inside you? Which could be, I'm going to write the next great American novel. I'm going to create an amazing company. I'm going to write a romantic comedy that everyone will enjoy. I'm going to create a restaurant concept, whatever it is, like your greatness. So
It could be, I'm going to raise an emotionally stable young adult.
Oh, that's crazy talk. That's just too hard. Come on. Let's talk about cold fusion or interstellar faster than light travel, not raising stable children, please. Will they have access to Facebook? You're screwed. So here's the question. If you believe that you have something meaningful to do, then the tools to do it become meaningful. You have to answer that. And if you're a team leader, you have to believe that the people you have assembled on that team have greatness inside them. And it's your job to elicit that, to draw it out. It's not your job as a manager to say, hey, Sean, I need your TPS reports in at 10 o'clock on Fridays. You know what I mean? Like, that's a manager. Nobody wins because of that. A great leader is the one who goes, Sean actually can write the kind of like blog posts that bring people to our company, like his way with words, or he designs features, or he codes things, whatever it is. Like, how do I give him the opportunity to be the Michael Jordan of that? That what I think, that's the foundation of any conversation you are going to have, is either you have something to do in this lifetime or you don't. And if you don't, you know what? God bless. Waste your life, end up 80 years old on the sofa, scrolling and double tapping through social media, talking about how you could have done something, because you're not going to do it. You have to believe you have something to do. And then you start accessing the tools and the techniques to go, I am absolutely going to write the next Sun Also Rises, the next, great app. I'm going to create a great company.
Absolutely.
So you were going to say something. I saw you open your mouth. You had something to say. What was it?
I had a giggle when you did that throwback to TPS reports.
Oh yeah, because you're wearing your 37 pieces of flair.
I instantly had the flashback to that movie of the 37 pieces of flair. The
just
best
like your pretty boy Bobby over there.
The best scene when they took the baseball bats to the fax machine out in the field.
It's awesome. Which I believe there's actually a commercial right now that they hired one of the actors and they reenacted that scene in the commercial. I'm not sure it's for HP or Canon or someone, but I saw that in passing. I was like, oh, it's the Office Space joke.
So this brings me to the question.
Ooh.
I agree with you 100%, Stephen. Everybody,
I'm shooting for 110%, just so you know. Keep going.
I believe that there is greatness. Everybody has unlimited potential.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to find the target.
Yeah.
Like you said, is it a book? Is it, raising a good family?
Right.
That, lives a good life and contributes to society. Like, one of my visions is my son grows up and does something that improves the country that he considers home, which is Guatemala.
That's amazing.
And like you said, often that is buried. We haven't even looked at it, right? What am I here for?
Yeah.
We all have something we're amazing at, and a manager just is, like you said. I saw this quote from Ross Perot. I was at an event in San Diego called the $1 Billion Impact Marketplace.
Okay.
And it was a powerful event. We raised several $1,000s for We Are Enough charity, which was an amazing story. And somebody brought she had these almost like a deck of cards. They were little strips. She's like, pick one out. And I open it up.
That's cool.
And it's a quote from Ross Perot.
Mm-hmm.
It said, inventories need to be managed. People need to be led.
That's nice. That's a good
and
quote.
It's like you said, Stephen, a leader's job, his or her role, is to help people tease out what is it that they can rise through. That there's their superpower, their greatness. I saw it with my wife in her career.
Mm-hmm.
She had a manager. They're like, okay, we're going to send you for this training. Nope. Okay. That's not a line. Okay. Let's send you. Like, they gave her opportunities to find where her greatness was.
Yeah. So should we build on that?
Yeah. Well, and I was wondering,
yes,
before we get too deep in the productivity swamp, what shaped how you relate to it today?
I've had some great mentors, and I'm a big fan. And I, as you know, have a 12-year-old son. We'll have a daughter in a year or two. And I hope I can imbue them with this sense of find the people who are great at what you want to do and do whatever it takes to get around them. Like, if you want, to be great at basketball, don't go get a job paying well at being the high school basketball coach in some, go mop the floors around Michael Jordan. Just see how greatness works.
Right. Get into the proximity of greatness.
Exactly. It's just that thing where it's like you absorb, okay, so this is how the game is played at that level, as opposed to like, hey man, I'm making $60,000 already, like straight out. And you're just going to plateau right there. I'll tell him, listen, if you make $5 an hour and you're around like your role model, I will help support you. If that is what you have to do to be around the greatest stockbroker, the greatest painter, the greatest author, the greatest basketball, whatever it is, go be around that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard so many stories, and one that's coming to mind was from the beginning of Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Edwin Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I want to be around Thomas Edison. And he did everything he could to get beside Edison.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed his whole life.
Yeah. And when you see stuff
yes.
like, the famous story about how many different materials Edison used to make a filament, and every one of them failed. Like it was in the thousands, I think, until finally the thing. And now everyone knows him for the light bulb. But, it's like Jordan says, you don't talk often how many game-winning shots I missed.
Right.
But I took them and I missed them, but I still made more that won the championships, right? And it's like, go, man, be around that and see. It's like, oh, okay, so Edison got known for the light bulb, but I was there to see 10,000 tries with the wrong element that didn't light up.
Right. And I was going to say, I appreciate the way you introduced yourself.
Ooh.
Right.
In English?
The way you said, your successes,
mm-hmm.
and you acknowledged your failures.
Oh, hell yeah. And it is true. You learn more from the failures. Like, admittedly, the 2 startups I did that didn't work, I felt shame. I felt embarrassment. I left a pretty high profile job in film. And right out of the gate, I knew everyone was watching and go, did he make the right move to leave film? And now obviously a ton of people have left film, but this is like 10 years ago. And it was kind of like, what are you doing? You're a vice president of a studio. And I was like, oh man, like this is not where I need to be. It's not my future. Like it's my past. And yeah, like both of those companies, I'll tell you this, when I hit the moment of this is ultimately not going to work and I need to talk to my investors, I'd raised about $3 million for each one. Both times when it was that, I don't think I should raise more money because we've tried everything I thought would work and it's not working for whatever reason. Internal reason, external, macroeconomic reason, whatever it was. I sat in a chair in my place. There's just one chair that has the light coming over your shoulder. It's like a beautiful sort of meditative place. And I was like, you know what? While the wounds are still bleeding, while I'm still super down on myself and depressed, not a year from now, I'm like, oh, Sean, it wasn't so bad. I learned so much. Life goes on. No, in the moment, I'm like, I want to jump out the window. I said, write down right now what you learned while it is fresh and painful.
Right.
And I kept both those sheets of paper. I wrote it out longhand. This is not dictating into Siri. Like I wanted the muscle memory of what do I think I did wrong? Whether I'm correct in my analysis or not, I was like, capture it now. And I have both of those pieces of paper. And I look back at them every couple of months to go, am I still learning these lessons or have I learned them? Am I going to repeat this or not? And I sure hope I've learned them, but who knows? Who knows?
All right. So focus.
Focus. I'm trying to focus.
Everybody wants more focus. Everybody wants focus.
Do they? Do they, Sean?
They say they do.
They say they do. They say they want to go to the gym.
I say I
lose
want
weight.
it, and I find it hard to find myself.
Yeah.
Because
let's talk about that, okay? Let's do it in a very human way. You and I both agree. I think we both have the reason you spend so much energy creating this podcast to inspire people is you believe that each of us does have something great, right? And I believe that too. It's like, find what that thing is and then have the allies, the tools to release it. Here's the thing. In the United States, and I would say America, but you're also in America, and I hate when people do that thing, right? So in the United States, if you look at the largest market cap companies on the stock market, most of their business models is steal your life, period, full stop. And it used to be 10 years ago, they were kind of embarrassed to talk about it. Like when Zuckerberg would be called to Congress to testify, and he'd do that aw shucks things like, oh, Senator, Facebook's just here to show grandmothers videos of their grandkids. That's what we do here at Facebook, right? That is over. You listen to their modern
Yeah.
shareholder calls, and it is Elon and Zuck, and you haven't like straight up listen. Yeah, we have $1 trillion market cap. We are using our money to get the best engineers, the best designers, the best behavioral economists, the best casino game designers to deploy these techniques to steal everyone's lives. By the way, we call that shareholder value. And next quarter, we have new techniques we're going to deploy to steal more of everyone's lives because that's shareholder value. So when you think about it, there's a tug of war for your life. On one side of the rope are $1 trillion companies with the smartest people on earth. And the other side is you. And that's hard, man. So you better find the tools, the allies, the techniques that help you, because Mark Zuckerberg has a 450-foot yacht because people don't find their greatness. It's because they scroll in his apps and watch ads. I know. Depressing, but true.
Oh yeah, I saw the social dilemma, and I was on that line for a while.
Really? Wow. What changed?
I looked at what it was doing. Like I was like Pavlov's dog.
Mm-hmm.
Every time my stupid phone would ding or, pop a notification, I was picking it up and I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm not even like this is just automatic. I'm just picking this thing up because the stupid thing went ding.
Sean, I'm so with you. I don't want you to feel out alone on this limb, because I'll tell you, I found this was when I would get vulnerable. I'm coding something on the screen and the build keeps failing, and I would get frustrated. Or I'd be writing a blog post for a blog, and like I'd read the first 2 paragraphs. I'm like, they kind of suck, and you rewrite them. And I get frustrated. In that moment of frustration, the tech companies had built such a beautiful knowledge. My conscious, like, there's dopamine just waiting for you right here. Just touch your phone.
Just reach out.
Just reach out, and it's going to be like 0 effort dopamine. Just tap that, scroll. The scroll goes on forever, right? And that would get me. And even if it was what I would consider innocuous, like I'm just going to check my WhatsApp to see if Eric, my buddy from Paris, is coming to town. He was supposed to reply. That is never 30 seconds, because then it turns into other WhatsApps. And then, there are some notifications I should pull down and see. Oh, and right. And Sean asked me to send them. And that was really bad. Like that was one of the things we addressed with Suka, my company. I was like, I have a problem. How do I deal with that in a way that suits me? Because I know there are some really great apps that like brick your phone. And if that's what you need, like your phone bricked, I think there's even an app called Brick.
They lock,
Yeah,
they lock down
right.
the
phone.
things that the traps.
Right, the
close
traps.
the traps. You
And
can't
I was
get in
thinking,
them.
I don't know if you feel this way. I was thinking that actually doesn't work for me, because I don't want my phone bricked, or I don't want websites blocked. Like Freedom and Cold Turkey, like there are wonderful Chrome extensions, there are wonderful apps that just like lock you out like a child. And I was like, I don't feel like I want to be treated like a child. I'd rather, there was almost like, Sean, if you were sitting next to me and you saw me pick up my phone and you're like, Steven, hey man, is that helping you? Because I know you want to go, see your 12-week-old son. Like the more time you spend scrolling, the less time you're going to spend with him before he goes to sleep. And I'd be like, Sean, thank you so much, man. You're right. No, you're right. I don't. And it's just to have that one moment of, hey man, who do you want to be? Like that's all I needed. And that was kind of how we designed Suka, more on the idea of like, if you had a friend sitting next to you, it's just like, hey man, do you really need to be in YouTube right now? You know what? You're right, Sean. I don't. Thanks, man.
And that is extremely powerful.
Thanks.
I saw that in my own life. I had a good buddy. His marriage imploded
Whoa, ouch. Why?
because he was, I'll say, the typical absentee husband.
Oh, ouch.
Not faulting him, because he was just modeling what he lived in, right? As we all do. We often just model what we saw when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And his wake-up call came too late. His wife had fallen in love with somebody else, and she had moved on. She'd closed the door.
Wow.
And I was talking to him after the fact, and we were getting authentic.
Good word. Okay.
It's my new buzzword.
It's authentic is
Authenticity
good.
and
I may use that,
authentic.
just so you know. That's not patented, right? It's not
It's
trademarked.
not my, I got it from somebody else, but I love it. And
Okay.
so I will share it around the world.
Authentic.
And I told him, I said, I kind of knew, like I saw something, and he looked me straight in the eye, Stephen. He said, why didn't you say something?
Right?
And how many times do we see another person and inside we're like you said, hey, Stephen, you sure you want to be doing that? Don't you want to go home and see your family? But we don't, because we're
If I
afraid.
could reach out and hug you right now, I would. Can I tell you a very personal story of why I named my company the weird name I did?
I'd love to hear it.
Laura, wifey, whom I love, mother of our little 12-week-old, right? She was the girl on the mat to my left in yoga one day 10 years ago. We have a daily yoga practice. It's part of our life. We got married like 3 years ago, and we had a working version. I had a working version of what would become Sukha. When you do daily yoga and you go on your honeymoon, Bali is a great place to go. And I'm very grateful. My life is a point I can go to Bali for a few weeks and chill out, right? So we're going there. And I just told Laura, I was like, you know what? The thing I've been struggling with is like, I need a real name for what we're doing. We can't call it like working title thing anymore. And I keep coming up with really bad descriptive names like Flow State app, Distraction Blocker 19. I mean, just like bad stuff, right? And I was like, like Amazon is not called like onlinebookstore.com. Like Nike's such a cool name for a shoe company, like Winged Goddess of Victory. Like it's not called like Shoe Place. And I'm really stumbling on this. She said, you know what? We're going to have a couple weeks. No one from the office is going to bug you. You're on your honeymoon. They're not going to bother you. Maybe your unconscious mind bubbles up something. Just leave it alone and let it go. Okay, thanks. So when we got there to the hotel, I said to her, you know what? I think you're absolutely right. This is one of those things where my unconscious mind needs to bulb it up. I think what would seed my mind, if you're cool with this, is do you mind if I speak to like 2 or 3 of our beta members and just say, like, tell me what you dig about this? So I had their outside perspective on it because I'm inside the bubble. She's like, I'm going to the pool, but I will see you at dinner. Enjoy your little Zooms. So I posted a group chat. Who has time to speak? 3 people said yes. And I asked them that. It was just, hey, what's your favorite feature? Do you love the smart assistant that keeps you off your phone? Do you love the music? We want to get you in the flow. The third guy, I was going to my wrap up. And I was like, hey, it's 8 minutes in. I asked for 10. I want to respect your calendar. I really appreciate your time, right? And the guy said to me, Stephen, you ask the wrong questions. And I was like, okay, dude, that I don't know that well. I'm curious. Okay, so what's the right question? He said, you should have asked me why I pay you. I was like, we don't charge that much. It didn't seem like a big deal, but okay, so why do you pay me? He said, so the past year I find I have 2 kinds of days. At 3 o'clock, I'm playing with my kids. They're currently 2 and 4. Or at 6 o'clock, I'm like, where did the day go? I was busy, but maybe I'll get up early tomorrow and try and finish things. He said, I realized the difference is, did I hit play in your website before I started work that morning? So I pay you because my kids are not going to be 2 and 4 forever. And I was like, wow, you won that round. Like, that is such a better question answer than I was going for. And thanks. So I told this to Laura at dinner. She's like, that guy's more articulate about what you're doing than you are. It's really, really good, you know? And now I'm a dad. I mean, this is 2 years ago. And I understand what he was saying. And Laura was brushing her teeth that night. You know, the cute little honeymooners, first night, our spa robes, brushing her teeth. And she looks at me, she goes, you know, in yoga, we hear all these Sanskrit terms, you know, your prana, your life force, and your karma, and your dharma. It's like, that dude described Yusuka. The feeling of like, when you're in your lane doing what you're meant to do and you're good at it, you can do it with ease. You're in control of your life. That's what he's trying to tell you. It's not about the focus or the flow state, whatever. It's about at 3:00, I want to be having those memories with my kids because I'm in control. I'm ahead of my day. And I was like, boom, I bought the website for $14 from Bali. I found, Network Solutions sold me the website for $14. I told my partner, I was like, we're going to call it the Sukha Company, like the happiness company. And that was it, because of exactly what you said. And now that I'm a dad, oh my God, I would give up nothing for those moments. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. And I can, like, one of the recent episodes was the protected list. And I shared this story about the bedtime routine with my son. It's a non-negotiable.
Right?
So if I don't care what the opportunity is, I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
If it requires me to sacrifice that, the
It's just
answer
a
is
no. It's just a no.
It's a straight no. I don't even have to think about it.
Remember that,
Or
what's that old song,
Thursday
Cats in the
Family Day.
Cradle? Do you remember that song?
Yep.
It's basically just about that. Just like at a certain point, his son's just like he is. And he's like, oh, wow, this is what I did in my son. And now I'm the father. I'm the older father. And he's telling me the same thing. And it's a heartbreaking song.
It is. And, you said, Laura said this would bubble up in your subconscious.
Yeah.
It sounded more like a lightning bolt moment as you told the story.
Well, I think she thought it would take 2 weeks.
There it is.
Weeks of something bubbling up. It happened to be that guy who's still a member. I still see him working in there. When he said that, I was like, oh my God, I'm totally thinking about this wrong. It's not about, I want to be the most focused person ever. It's, I want to be ahead of my day. I want to feel like I can go play with my kids because they're not going to be 2 and 4 forever. This moment's going to be gone. Today will be gone after today. And I was like, man, he articulated something that I wasn't even thinking.
And I love that you got the domain for $14.
Right. Who wants a weird name like the Sukha Company? Nobody. I'm the only one on earth who wanted that.
Because when I was in San Diego at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
And there's a buzz phrase that came up. There's a woman, I connected with her a lot because we have a similar mission, preventing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
She works with first responders.
Wow.
She opened a 40-acre ranch in Colorado where first responders can come and just relax.
Cool.
They can just let go of all the trauma and everything they deal with in their very frenetic job.
Mm-hmm.
And the phrase that came up is, you can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
And at one of the break times, she goes, I just paid $10,000 for a domain.
I hope it was good, like money.com.
It was you can't make this shit up.com.
I know. Oh my God.
But it was like she like her finger slipped or something and she couldn't reverse it and get her money back.
Wow.
I'm like, wow.
That's like that old.
But that came to mind.
The 'tis strange but true. The truth is often strange, stranger than fiction. Yeah, hard to make that stuff up.
Yeah. But I love the way the name just came to you. Because you're right.
It was a gift. It was not my brilliance. It was someone going like, dude, let me help you. You're lost in the woods. Let me show you the way out of the woods. And I'm very grateful.
Well, and I consider those kind of a divine download
That's a great way to
because
look at it.
I utter stuff and I go, where did that come from?
Like raw authentic.
You know, I'm like, where did that come from? Or the thing I'm working on, identity driven leadership.
Cool.
The
That just flowed
pretext
out of you
is
one day?
it came to me that it's about being in the right identity of who you want to be. And this goes back to my Facebook trap when the phone was, I said, I don't want to be the guy that's on this network site wasting my time
Yeah.
justifying it. And my son wasn't around at that point. Justifying it. Well, I'm trying to start a business. And so I'm trying to build relationships. And I'm listening to myself and I'm like, that is so much of a lie.
Yeah.
Like, who are you kidding? You're not, you're out there consuming, not creating.
Correct. Okay. So hold on. I have a power boost question for you, which is I know your audience comes here and they get inspired and they get actionable techniques and all that. And I would love for us to share some thoughts while we have this precious time together that are maybe actionable. So how can I contribute things that are raw authentic? I'm going to use that tonight. Just, so you know, I'm going to use that so many times with Laura until she's sick of it. Um, what can I contribute that you have wanted to mine out of me to go, my audience would love to learn this?
How do you distinguish pressure
Mhm.
from focus?
Hmm.
Like real pure focus.
Okay. That's an interesting question because I wouldn't have put those two as opposites or that needed differentiation. Um, I'll give you my answer to that. And I'm not saying this is right or not, but pressure, I think traditionally that structure is it's an external force, right? It's pressure put upon something, whether it's liquid, gas, whatever. Um, so you may have pressure to do something, and it doesn't necessarily imply that you're going to be focused. Like you can be under a lot of pressure to deliver a report, a business plan, a book, or whatever. Like, I was talking to someone just a few moments ago who has to turn in the first draft of their book, and they're under a lot of pressure. But what she's seeking is focus. Now, I would differentiate pressure from this external force and focus in that focus is really the thing when you begin to differentiate. It's use the yes and no power. Like I think you did a great episode on like the power of no or saying no. Focus is about yes is only valuable when you say no to the things that are outside of the focal point. So I would say that focus is really that thing that allows you to say, I am going to put my energy, my life energy toward this thing for this next half hour. I'm working on this for this day, for this year. Because, one of my focal points of last year, which bleeds into this year, is I was like, you know what? I want to share more of what I've learned about flow states and focus and healthy productivity and do it for free. Do more speaking engagements that are not paid engagements. And that's been amazingly rewarding for me. And I've met some amazing people that I never thought would be the effect of saying, hey, I'll talk for free about this thing. So focus, I think, is really, that thing of just saying, yes is powerful to the extent that you use no to pare away the stuff that's not.
Right. Well, and
sorry, that was verbose.
As you
I could have
said,
said that more succinctly.
It was beautifully said because I agree. Pressure, and I have a story to go with this.
Ooh.
Is that external force. It's a push, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's your editor pushing like the deadline's coming. When is your book going to get in?
Yep.
It's the boss like, where's that TPS report? It was due yesterday.
Where's
right?
your
It's
flair?
external, right? Even it's the external pressure we put on ourselves. I need to get this done because I have a commitment to myself. I have a commitment to my audience. Where focus is the pull. And it goes back to what you said at the beginning, Stephen, about when it's aligned with who you are, what you're supposed to do, where your area of greatness, your zone of genius, as some call it, and it pulls you. And I think of the fact that you're here with a cedar allergy.
I know it's really
stuffy
bad. You can
head,
hear it. I'm all stuffy. I'm sorry.
but you're here. Like,
Yeah. I was not going to
you're not
flake out
here
on you.
because I got on the phone and said, Stephen, where the heck are you, man?
Yeah.
You came out of your own desire to share with a wider audience.
Also, my desire to walk my talk, like to be a man of my word. If you said, Stephen, I need you to pick me up at the airport like 3 months from Tuesday at 4 a.m., if we did not speak between now and then, I would want you to know I would be there. You didn't have to check on me. You didn't have to be like, hey, man, remember? I'll be there 3 months from Tuesday at 4 a.m. You're like, yeah, that's the kind of friendships that I want. Those are the relationships I want to have with other people.
That's, for me, that's the kind of man I want to be. Is that
because you're
I make a
authentic.
commitment.
I'm going to kill
I
that
make
one.
a commitment, if I make a commitment,
Yeah.
like you said, yes, I will be there to pick you up at the airport.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to keep checking like, hey,
Yeah.
are we still good? Are we still good? Are we, like I said I would, I will be there. You can count on that. The only reason I won't is because lightning struck me dead or something. I don't know.
Yeah, which you can qualify. You can say, yes, I will pick up the airport. Should I be alive? Okay, fair enough. Is Stephen alive? Or if he's coming?
Or as they say, as some of my connections have said, inshallah.
Right.
in
Yes,
other
that is
countries.
a great expression.
The catch is sometimes it's a polite no
yeah,
for some people.
there's a lot
But
of
the
coding.
story,
Yes. But hopefully we do, and I respect this about you, Sean. It's like, hopefully we do have a relationship to our word that attracts other people of a similar relationship to their word.
I think it definitely happens, right? It's not a hopefully. I think if we are true, if we walk the talk, we will attract those people for a reason or a season.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
Right? People are in our life, maybe just for a short season. I don't know. But the story I thought of was when I was in university, I had a paper due. And back then, I used to say I was the pro in procrastination. Dumbest.
You're just full of little word turns. Great. Okay.
Today I look at that, I'm like, that was so ridiculous. Like, I'm actually like proud of being a procrastinator. And like, anyway, I waited until the day before, like the morning of the day I'm supposed to turn this paper in.
Right.
I sit down at my computer finally, start typing.
Oh yeah. You're not alone.
And it flows. Like this is a,
yeah.
And I hit save as my alarm went off to remind me to get in the car and drive to the university. And I was just like, that was crazy. Like, I could have written that paper weeks before.
May I jump in?
But I didn't.
Okay. So by virtue of running Suka, I talked to a lot of people on productivity, right? I'm going to tell you what you just said, super common. Here's the funny thing. If I bring up the concept of time boxing, hey, you know what? You could say, I'm going to give myself 5 hours to write this paper I have to turn in, right? And you could do it Tuesday, a week before it's due. It's so interesting the way I get people who are like, oh, no, man, I can't time box. I always wait until the last minute. And blah, blah, blah. To which I reply, okay, so you do time box. You just use the deadline as the backside of the time box. Like, you did it in 5 hours, but you just choose to do it with the end point, the last possible minute. Imagine your stress level if you said, I can do it in 5 hours. I'm just going to do it the day before or the week before. Try that. And it's a weird unlock when they're like, oh my God, you're right. I do time box, but it's just by pushing it against the deadline, I time box it. The way our brain works.
Right. And often it's because we didn't look at it that way. Nobody ever said, like, hey, you're doing it. You say you can't, but you do it.
You do it.
I
Correct.
saw it with my wife. For years, she said, I'm not creative. I'm not creative. I'm not creative.
Yeah.
She's published 3 books in the last 6 months in 2 different languages.
Not bad.
Not creative? Not creative?
That's great.
Excuse me.
She's been creating.
She just had to find the right.
Well, okay, so that brings us
Unlock.
back to kind of where we were at the beginning of this, which is, okay, so when you find the thing, you're like, this is meaningful. That is part of the unlock of saying, okay, I can focus now. There is a reason to focus. And if I can go on a little diatribe about flow states, is that okay? Cool?
That'd be cool.
Okay. So I know there's a portion of the audience that totally knows about flow states and the flow masters. This is for the audience that's kind of heard of it and it's in the zeitgeist but wants to know more. Okay, so 30 seconds. A guy, Hungarian-American psychologist, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, he had a thesis. He's like, it's weird how you talk to high performers in different disciplines, scientists, artists, athletes, whatever. And when you talk to them about the concentrated states where they do the thing and makes them famous, the thing the world knows them for, they describe that state in very similar ways, even though what they do is very different. He's like, what's up with that? So sort of like Prometheus-like. He's like, I'm going to go get some fire, bring it down from Mount Olympus, and we should all like figure out how to cook things, right? So he, at the end of his little research, wrote a book, Flow. It's the seminal work on this. It's why we call it flow state. And he said the coolest thing. He said, I chose this word because it was the most beautiful metaphor for what I found. We are all on the river, paddling to move ourselves forward. But if you align your boat with the current, it carries you. It magnifies your efforts. That is what these high performers have figured out how to do and do repeatedly. And one of the things, the reason I bring this up is when he describes like the state and how you get into it, he said, in this flow state, time kind of falls away. You're not really looking at the clock. You're deep in the work. You are doing your best work, usually in a compressed amount of time. Distractions don't really get to you. And at the end of it, you can feel uplifted, almost like a sense of joy rather than a sense of depleted and tired. And he said, all these high performers I spoke to, they only really get into flow when they're doing something they think is meaningful. It's never like, stapling the TPS reports or something like that. We're just like, ugh. There has to be some meaning you ascribe to it that allows your brain to sort of say, okay, I'm going to shut down part of my prefrontal cortex. I'm going to like lose a little bit of the self in the work because it's worth that. And I think that's fascinating when you think about how it's true across so many different kinds of work. It is just how our brains and our spirits sort of say, okay, this is when I do the thing. This is why people are going to know me. And that's when people do, that's, when you get Michael Jordan doing stuff that shows up 30 years later on a highlight reel because he's in the zone, as you would say. What were you going to say? I know you wanted to say something a moment ago.
Well, and I love the way I haven't read the book. I know a lot about the flow state.
Yeah.
And fist bump for pronouncing that name because I always forget how to pronounce it.
Thank you. It took some practice. Let's not kid ourselves.
But it's a perfect illustration, right? Flow is you're no longer fighting the current. You've aligned the boat. And I instantly thought of my days when I did yacht racing.
Oh,
I used to go down once a week.
Wow.
And because they did a waterfront show in my town, and I was talking to the guy who was representing he's like, come down on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Just say, hey, I'm here to volunteer for crew. Anybody need crew?
Really?
He's like, there'll be tons of people. They'll take you on their boat and put you to work. They'll teach you what to do. But with the boats, with sailboats, it's all about aligning. And it's kind of a misunderstanding. People think the wind is pushing the boat. It's not. It's pulling the boat. but it's the same thing like flow. It's about aligning things right so that they
Yeah,
are pulled to the destination.
that's a great distinction. Yeah. So those who are listening, who come to the Daily Power Boost for a daily power boost, and you believe you have something meaningful to do, there is something you're going to contribute to this world before you die, then yeah, explore the ways your brain works. Like, I did not know what a flow state was the first time I experienced a flow state. I didn't know it was a thing. And afterwards, explaining it to someone, I was like, I was on this flight and there was no Wi-Fi and there are no distractions. No one could text me. And I had to do these designs. I did them. I was way ahead of where I thought it'd be. It felt great. They're like, "Oh, that was a flow state, dude." I was like, why didn't someone tell me this in my 20s? When I was in university, why didn't someone tell me this? This was different, you know? It's a
Right,
great competitive
because
advantage.
a lot of times, like you said, we were in a flow state unknowing, or after the fact, somebody pointed out, hey, that was a flow state.
Mhm.
But the ones that really capitalize on it have learned how to switch it on, to
Yeah.
get in the zone,
Yeah.
to activate it on command.
Yeah. And well, let's talk about on command, because I want to set some realistic expectations. And you and I are very fortunate that really smart people have spent their lives researching tiny aspects of this and writing. And, you and I get to read it and go like, oh, I know something. So I want to respect that anything smart I say is because someone did a ton of research and I'm just here to help share it. Okay. So that said,
Amen.
there is enough research that shows flow is not something that's like, I'm in flow, I'm deeply focused. So that it's like 15 to 23 minutes to get in where your brain sort of sinks into that state. And if you get disturbed, hey man, can I have your TPS reports? It takes you another 15 to 23 to get back. So that immediately tells you, oh, so if I want to be doing deep work, as Cal would say, if I want to be doing something meaningful, not just shallow stuff, I need to block time, treat it as sacred. And that's something like in my company, we do. Everyone I hire, I'm like, listen, here, we're going to have this focus time, deep work time, whatever you want to call it, but block it in your calendar and treat it as a meeting with yourself. It's sacred. It's not like open time that people can see and book a client meeting put it in there and go, this is the time I'm going to go deep. Some days it will yield nothing. Some days will be like, yeah, I kind of did this thing, the blog post, okay. But some days when you go deep, when you do have that hour or 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever to think, you do have the idea where you're like, we should pivot into this. We should build this feature. My character needs to be rewritten. That's what I have to do, and that's what I think is amazing when you have those moments, because it's very easy to do a lot of shallow, busy work. And then at the end of the week, of the month, you really haven't gotten close to your goal. You've just been running on a treadmill.
Right. And, that makes me realize I misused the word on command. What I meant is, like you said, it is a process. I do know that,
Mhm.
but they can activate that process
Yes.
we'll say at will.
Okay. I didn't
It's
mean to
not-
correct you.
it's
You
not-
made me think of that idea of saying like,
No,
by the way,
I appreciate the clarification, because
Yeah.
I don't want listeners or others to think, oh yeah, so you just learn this right technique, or you download the Suka app and you can just switch it on and you're in flow. That would be nice, but this isn't the Matrix. You don't get to plug in and download karate in 5 minutes.
one difference. And you know what? There is no spoon. Okay.
Yes. And you talked about, if you're disrupted, how about ego
Mhm.
or outcome pressure? How can it disrupt that flow in your experience or from your knowledge?
I think we're at a point where it's generally accepted there is a certain amount of external pressure that can be healthy. Hey, you need to turn in the first draft of your book by April 15th, or whatever it is. And it's just like, okay, great. I have a deadline to work towards, right? So there's a certain amount of pressure. There is excruciating pressure that can be counterproductive. Okay. So I think you and I are in sync about that. But
Yes.
to say, hey, like, I want to use this time productively. Again, it goes back to, well, you have to have something meaningful you think it needs to be produced. I'm the person who's going to write the next great novel, create the next great app, do that. That's, open the next great Mexican restaurant in Austin, which there are some good ones. So I think that's the thing is like, I hope there is some subset of your listeners today that do have a fix on, I know what my great thing is, and I need the techniques and the tools to get it out there because I have the drive and I know what I want. And they go for it because it is a crime. In my mind, it is a crime to know what that thing is and then still end up 80 years old, scrolling and double tapping on the sofa, talking about what you could have done, And I thought how I met you is I've been really inspired the past year about having a child and like, okay, there is another generation. What have I done to make their world 0.0001% better? And my dad has seen 3 of his friends die of lung cancer. He smoked for 37 years. He has, a heart condition. And when I talked to him, I'm like, Dad, how could you guys killed yourselves? Like, how could you do that to yourself? My dad's like, you don't understand. Like, it was a different time. The movie stars were smoking. Like, the tobacco companies were producing studies on the health benefits of tobacco. You don't get it. And I sure as F hope my children have that conversation with me going, so how could you waste your life scrolling through social media feeds or random cat videos? And you would watch Kim Kardashian's ad about her underwear for 20 minutes like it was content. Like, how would you waste your life? And our generation says, you don't understand. All the stars were doing it. Facebook was publishing studies on how healthy the connection of being in Facebook. You don't understand, And I sure hope they're like,
social media is.
right. And they're just like, yeah, that was really bad. Like smoking was for dad's generation, granddad's generation. And you guys had social media. Like, we're not doing that. We're not going to waste our lives just scrolling through garbage, AI slop, Now they have apps that are just feeds of AI slop, which is amazing when you think about it, because you know what that means. There are people gaming the system by selling AI bots to watch the slop so that there's, quote, engagement, and write AI comments on AI slop videos so that the algorithm will think that they're more interesting, and AI likes on AI. And you're like, is this the dog eating its tail or what?
Right. And I just saw something like that, Stephen. It showed like a Zoom screen.
Yep.
And there was one human. It's like when you go into the Zoom room.
Yeah.
And it's all the.
And you're the only real human.
You're the only human.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is. I don't remember but yeah, that's the world we're moving into. But I agree with what you said, do you want to get to the end of your life with your song still in you? I've heard it that way, right?
The music
still in you.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the work that you and I and others are doing is like, we found our song. And we want to help people find their song.
Yep.
Find their music.
And sing it.
Yeah. And you might sing off key in the beginning. That's okay.
You will.
You will.
Sing off key.
Yeah. Well, this has been, I want to respect your time. I see we're coming up on an hour, Stephen.
This has been great.
This has been an amazing conversation.
Thank you.
We went a few different ways, but I think we definitely got some boosts in there.
I hope for those listening, there were some inspirational and maybe actionable thoughts about moving their life forward.
At this point, what is a big takeaway you would hope listeners take from today's conversation?
I will add to today's conversation a thought that I think is maybe implicit in it, but I want to hang a lantern on it said this way, which is, if you understand, if you have acknowledged yourself, what is the thing that you were meant to do here on earth in this lifetime? In the morning, before you start scrolling, before you make breakfast, before you take a shower, identify the one thing you can do that day that will move your life forward. Not 5 things, not that month. What is the one thing that you could go to sleep that night and say, I did this and my life moved forward? And then just repeat that.
Beautiful. Because that brings me to thinking when I started this podcast, I hemmed and hawed and played it in my mind. But one day I hit record.
Yep.
And it was messy. And when I listened to it, I go, oh, that was bad.
Yep.
But when I compare it to where I am today,
Look
and
at you now.
where it's night and day, and without that first action, it doesn't have to be a huge action. Like you said, if you can make the world 0.0001% better for the next generation, can you move the needle 0.001% closer to your reason for being on this earth, your moment of greatness? That's powerful.
There it is. Thank you for having me.
My question to piggyback, what stops you?
You're asking me?
I'm asking the audience to think about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What stops you? Right? As we said, Edison grabbed that first hunk of material and made a filament and tested it, and it didn't work. And so he did it again and again and again. And we all enjoy the ability to read a book anytime we want, to wash dishes and be able to see that they're clean, and all the other benefits. The fact that we're looking at each other wouldn't exist without that first incandescent light.
Yep.
So that shows the power of taking that one small step, as you just said, that moves you forward, and then do it again.
Yep. Just keep doing it.
And compound it. So thank you, Stephen. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Look forward to bringing you the next great conversation or power boost. Thank you all. Have a great one. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential. Remember, transformation starts with action. So take today's insight, make it your own, and awaken your inner potential. Because remember, greatness begins within. Catch you tomorrow for your next Power Boost.